If you're stuck in a 16-bar loop, use a reference track that's similar to the genre you're producing. Analyze the structure of the track in your DAW using markers or MIDI and delete that track. Bam! You've got a full form to start producing with. Next is to work with what you've got. Duplicate a track, add a different instrument. You got a pad going, duplicate that, choose a different pad, shift MIDI notes up an octave. Now you've got 2 pads and a bigger stereo image if you add panning, EQ, and different effects on your duplicated tracks. For example, add more highs on the one pad, pan it to the right, boost the mids on the other one, and pan it to the left. Send them to a bus with some reverb. Now you've got a stew going. This is a stew. Mixing a stew right now. Yeah! These next 47 tips are some of the best tips that have had the biggest impact on the way I produce and mix music. I went to school for audio production and literally paid $1,000 to learn these tips. So let me save you some serious dough and tell you everything I know for free. Tips 1 through 28 are for producing and creative process, and the rest are for mixing. So stick around, because the mixing tips I'm about to share will get your mixes sounding chef's kiss. Record stuff to keep it interesting. It's easy to get stuck in this box. Have fun. Record things all around you. Duplicate them. Add effects. See this thing? This is a drum. Shift your sounds around for more variety and depth. If they're all hitting at the exact same moment, they're gonna get lost. Shift them around by milliseconds, and you'll get a whole new dimension, especially for drum sounds. Oh, sick! Add more expression to your track by automating your BPM. Gradually increasing the BPM during buildups or transitions to create a sense of excitement and anticipation for the listener. Use MIDI packs. Use MIDI packs. Use MIDI packs to get inspired. Grab some chords, learn how to play them, and use them to keep the creative flow going. You'll often see them on sale, but stop! I've linked all the free MIDI chord packs Lander has made throughout the years in the description. So grab them for free. Don't pay for MIDI chord packs. If you want to take it a step further, MIDI generators like Lander Composer will give you unlimited chord progressions, melodies, arpeggios, bass lines. This is perfect for sketching out your harmonic ideas, first in scenes, then dragging everything into your DAW to finish the track. Now you've got MIDI in your DAW, it might look like this and sound like this. You gotta liven that MIDI up. You gotta liven it up. Liven the MIDI up. Yeah. Move it around. Adjust the velocities. Luckily, there are some awesome built-in tools to do this in your DAW. In Ableton, use the randomize button or the groove pool to quickly get some randomized velocities and timing. Because you gotta liven that MIDI up. You gotta liven that MIDI up, man. Yeah. Liven that MIDI up. I want that t-shirt. Liven that MIDI up. Hey! Arpeggiate your MIDI to get interesting phrasing and melodic ideas. Because you gotta liven that MIDI up. Duplicate your pads and arpeggiate the chords, choosing a plucky or percussive sound. Tools like Eon ARP will get you creative ARPs based on your chord progression, giving you phrases and melodies you probably wouldn't land on your own. If you're starting your session with a blank DAW and loading up your instruments, slow down. I mean, speed it up by creating a template with your favorite instruments. Then, lay it out based on the sonic arrangement you're going for. Easy access to your tools is going to keep you in that flow. Use a reference track for creative inspiration. Split it using a stem splitter like Lander stems, and take note of what the artist is doing in those stems. It might not be as complicated as you think. Take those concepts and apply them in your production. Use LFOs for evolving chord movements. Use it to automate the volume, the filter cutoff, or the pan position. Use a slow LFO rate and take it to the next level. Automate that rate in different sections of your track. Add more rhythm to your track with sidechaining. If you've got a static sound going like a long pad, use something like Shaperbox Time Shaper and sidechain your drums so the pad locks in with your drums. Now you got that groove locked in. Not sure where to start? Grab a funky drum loop. Use that for inspiration. If you get a simple groove going and you're feeling it, it's easier to get inspired and make something worth keeping. Delete the drum loop after and build on what you have. If you're recording in your bedroom and your cat is making a ton of noise like mine does, consider using a dynamic microphone like the Shure MV7. They have a lower sensitivity to distant or quiet sounds and capture what's close to the mic. Now that you've got your cat out of the way, layer your vocals for a fuller sound, especially for the hook or chorus. Record multiple takes, harmonies, ad-libs, pan them, and align them so they're tight. This can take your vocal production from amateur to pro very quickly. Make your chord progressions smoother by using chord inversions. You don't need music theory to do this. Just arrange the notes so there aren't any big jumps between them. Experiment with different voicings and use a tool to help you if you need it. Duplicate your chord progression, then change one chord to make it more interesting. Use the new chord progression as an extension to the one you have, or for another section. It's going to give you more depth and more room to tell a story with your track. Yo, remember when I told you to duplicate everything? Well, as you keep building your track, don't be afraid to mute any tracks that aren't serving a real purpose. You can always come back to them or use them in different areas of your track. Tip 3295. Capture your ideas immediately so you're constantly inspired. I don't know about you, but I have ideas that come to me when I'm walking to the store, doing laundry, in the shower. Yo, hey, I'm in the shower. Get out of my shower. Have your phone ready and you can sing those ideas in there. You gotta liven that MIDI up. Open up your DAW later that night and try to use them. Remember, if you're using your phone in the shower, don't forget to put it in the rice after, because the rice and the phone and the moisture, and there's a thing, and it's science.
It's a joke. Rice does nothing.
Next tip. Also, use the capture button in your DAW. Load up a sound like a drum loop and jam along to your track. There's no pressure if that record button isn't going. Use the capture button as soon as something feels meaningful to you. Resample and chop your track. If you got that 12-bar loop going, print the whole thing to another track and resample and chop it. Add effects and see what you can come up with. It could fill out a whole other section of your production. Use counter melodies for more emotion and depth. You got your main melody happening for 8 bars. Bring in a counter melody that sits right underneath for the next 8. If you got a catchy rhythm going on in your drums, accent the rhythm with another sound, like a synth, a sample. Print out your high drum sounds and use something like Texturize to add another layer on top. Automate that to come in and out at specific points, and no one will skip your song. Tip 5,907. Use royalty-free tracks and samples to your advantage by splitting them. There are tons of sites to grab similar tracks in the style you're producing or sites that have high-quality samples. Split them apart and resample them in your track. You can only get so far on your own. Adding another collaborator to the mix to contribute ideas can be a great learning experience and refuel your creative juice. If you're short on people to ask, consider hiring or connecting with others online. Getting another instrumentalist or vocalist to add their flavor to your track will turn it into something completely different. Woo! Keep up to date with the best and latest tips by subscribing to this channel. And that's a promise. Not only are you getting constant videos from me, but staying up to date with the best music production videos, best music production content on YouTube. Yeah! All right, those were the producing tips. How we doing? Ready for the mixing tips? These are gonna change your life. By the way, if you're still watching, you've probably seen this badge pop up. That means the tool I'm using is in Lander Studio, which gets you everything you need to produce and release music all in one place. To get a good overall level on your session, set your DAW's default track with about -6 dB reduced. To do this in Ableton, load the utility track, go down -6, right-click the track and set it as your default audio or MIDI track. Feel free to put other tools on the track you find yourself using all the time. Print your tracks before you start mixing. This means to render any MIDI tracks to audio. If you have a bunch of virtual instruments, they will eat away at your CPU once you start loading any audio effects. Commit to what you created and get in the mixing zone. Balance your tracks in mono. Set your master track to mono and start your mix by balancing the loudest section of your song first. Balancing in mono gives you more perspective from top to bottom. After this is done, you'll get a great foundation to start getting more granular in your mix. Okay, you've probably heard this one before, but consider cutting a low end where it doesn't make sense. You don't have to cut low end on every track, but if you have a pad happening that has a ton of low end buildup and the pad doesn't serve the low end of the mix, cut it out. Cut it out. Yeah. Separate sub bass and mid bass. Treat sub and mid bass as separate instruments for greater control and clarity, rolling off frequencies above 120 Hz on sub bass. Use automation to create interest in your mix. Small changes in dynamics like automating volume swells or filter adjustments can add a whole world of emotion to a piece and keeps your listener engaged. Use saturation on elements you want to translate on smaller speakers. Got a big fat bass line? Make it fatter and more audible on small cell phone speakers by blending in some distortion. Use dual reverbs for vocals. This is essential for vocals because it creates depth, making the vocals sound fuller and more immersive. Set up one aux channel with a plate as your short verb and a hall as your long reverb and blend it to taste. Now, sidechain those reverbs with your lead vocals. Compress the reverb using the lead vocal as a sidechain input. This will make sure the main vocal stays clear and in front in the mix. Finally, EQ those reverbs. Put an EQ after the reverb and put a high pass around 600 to 800 hertz and a low pass around 6 to 8 kilohertz. This is known as the Abbey Road reverb trick, and it'll help you keep your vocals focused. It'll remove any low-end muddiness or a high-end harshness. Make decisions quickly. Like when I'm shopping online, I hit that buy button way too fast. Same thing for mixing. Make those decisions instinctively and work fast. Ear fatigue is real. While you're making those quick decisions, realize that every EQ and compression choice should solve a specific issue. Don't aimlessly make EQ moves just because you think it's good to have an EQ on your track. Ask yourself, what am I aiming to solve with this decision? Sometimes a quick fader move or mute button is a better solution. Take breaks! Every second you spend mixing, you're losing objectivity on the bigger picture. It's like when you're eating a ton of sushi. You need that ginger break to get the full flavor of the next piece. Taking breaks is going to give your ears a chance to rest, leading you to make the best decisions for your mix. Set timers! Pomodoro! Close your eyes and A/B your decisions for better clarity. When you're looking at your screen, you're seeing the changes and your brain is focusing on that. Close your eyes and let your ears do the heavy lifting. Tip 43, leave the room. Play your mix and leave the room to get a different perspective on your mix. That vocal might be popping when you're listening in front of your speakers, but you might be losing it without realizing it. Get even more perspectives on your mix by listening on different systems or use a mix checking plugin. Throw it through some small speakers and see if your bass is translating. Might be time to add even more distortion. Get off YouTube right now and start a course on a subject you think you need to improve. Mixing, piano, composition. Sit down with a great course and take it in. This will give you focus that'll translate to your workflow. Hey yo, you still here? Let's finish these then. Use a reference track again, but this time use it to reference your mixing decisions. Grab a track that is similar to the style you're mixing to, lower the volume a bit since it's probably mastered, and reference that track. Start asking yourself, how is the bass sitting? How loud are the vocals? Run your mix through AI mastering to hear how it's being interpreted. You might find that your master is way too bass heavy because the AI thought your mixing decision to have loud bass was intentional. Go back, adjust your mix, and run it through again. Unless you're sound designing, avoid that solo button. When you're mixing, it's important to hear the changes of your mix in context. If you need more signal, just raise the fader a bit. Make the decision and bring it back down. If you're throwing the same effects on every channel for instruments that are similar, process them as a group instead. A bunch of synths or guitars or vocal tracks? Group them together, then get your EQ in there, some compression and saturation, and you're going to hear a big difference. Doing this helps bind them together as a huge unit of sound. A huge unit. Huge unit. Mixing is subjective. It's normal if you don't feel like you know what you're doing. What am I doing? Why am I here? Who am I? Why? That's why it's important to get someone else's ears on your mix. Finding someone with more experience than you and getting them to listen to your mix and give detailed feedback might be the best learning tool you invest in. There are a ton of places where you can do this. On Lander, you can find professionals that have years of experience to help you. You won't do it. You're not gonna do it. Do it. Is that it? That's 50? Is it 50? I'll leave it up to you to count. Maybe we did 47 and I lied. Maybe I'm not even really here. It doesn't matter. Take this information and use it now. Kola out.